What do you think? Okay, so this is Luke Mones Explained, everybody. I'm Luke Mones. We're back. We had a long hiatus. A lot of soul searching went down. And one of the things that we talked about as a team in the interregnum.
Yeah.
Why do you laugh?
Great word. Great word. Seldom used.
In the interregnum between the last episode and the dog is... I got a dog.
Huge for the pod.
Huge for the pod. You're back. Clearly,
Third
time. You are now tied for the most.
Oh, with who?
Who do you think?
Tommy?
No. Close. Good guess. I actually think you're tied with three-way tie with Brendan. Oh, right. Fan. No, I'm kidding. And Jace Avery.
Oh. Well, I'm in good company. They're both good, big old fat guys, but in different ways. So.
I go back. I talk about this all the time, but I don't think Brendan or Jace, frankly. But Brendan has this image as like a fat guy, and I always tell him, I'm like, I don't think you're fat, and I don't think Jace is not fat.
I think Jace is definitely slimming down. He looks good.
Oh, he looks great.
Brendan is, I think he revels in being like a big old tub. But
I know, but he's not really. He looks honestly like 90s. I've told him this. He looks like 90s fat, where it's like if you were a fat guy on a sitcom in the 90s, you're like, have you ever seen this is a classic thing, like it's a meme now, but like, you ever see like George Costanza with his shirt off?
Right.
And you go, George Costanza's in better shape than both of us combined.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Actually, can you pull that up? Is that okay?
Yeah,
both of us combined. He looks great.
Actually, he doesn't look great, actually. Yeah.
I've been walking
the nips are bad. The nips are really bad.
Honestly, and again, this is not body shaming, but he does look like he may have high estrogen levels.
Yeah, what's it, Klinefelters?
I got Klinefelters, Jerry! It's genetic. I got Klinefelters. Whoa, George, heard you had Klinefelters. Oh, man. Okay, no, but you don't like this. You don't care for this?
I'm having a great time.
All right, good. Anyway, I've been walking around this with image in my head of George having like a six-pack, having like a Herculean body.
Why?
I don't know, because I've been saying this thing of like George Costanza was actually cut and in shape, but the point stands. This is a guy, he doesn't even have any love handles. Nothing is falling off of his body.
He's a genuinely stout man, and he's not overweight at all. He's just stout.
I guess that's the point. He's barrel-chested.
Yeah. He's big-boned. He's like truly big-boned, which we all look at as a joke, but it's a real thing.
I think I'm big-boned. In both long.
Well, you're long
and big boned. I think.
I have small, fragile bird bones.
I was gonna say you have bird bones. I feel like one could crush them
easily.
How many bones have you broken? Ballpark it for me.
I broke my nose. That's it.
What?
Once, yeah.
That's cartilage. That's not a bone.
That doesn't count. The bone part right here.
Oh yeah, I guess this is. Is this a bone? Can you look that up?
This is
the
bone.
Bridge of your nose a bone?
When you think of a skeleton, there's a nose part of the bone.
I actually don't think that's true.
No, it is. It's the front of the nose.
Is the bridge of the nose a bone?
Yes, the bridge of the nose is made of bone.
Okay, excuse me. But I was just thinking of the big hole on the.
Yeah, no. My hole is fine, but my nose got broken at a hardcore concert when I was 18. A guy karate chopped me.
But it was like part of the hardcore culture is like.
Yeah, it was a mosh pit.
Everybody is kind of like. But the mosh pit, I've talked to Ian Fidance about this. The mosh pit is like very supportive. People are very like.
Depends on the band.
But hardcore
Ian's
to me,
going to like a ska show. That's supportive.
Right. It's like a.
I was at a show for the Acacia Strain, which is.
What's that?
It's like a death metal. Deathcore is the genre, and it's just about killing and dying.
And is that something you're still into?
Nah. But you know what? Probably once a month, I'll put one of their songs on when I'm driving and just feel. That rage, that 18-year-old rage at the world. You
know what I've been listening to?
Go ahead.
You ever hear of if we play music, what will happen?
You could like for distribution or for listing on the podcast?
If it was on YouTube, if we played music here, what would happen?
Like you want to hear it?
No. Like if I put this on YouTube.
You probably will be demonetized.
All right. Well, Stan Rogers. You know who Stan Rogers is?
No.
Pull up Stan Rogers. He was like a Canadian, sort of like he sang sea shanties.
Oh.
And he had like a deeply. All right, good. He had a very low voice.
What year is this guy active?
He was active in the 70s and 80s, but when he was in his early 30s, he was on the tarmac, and the plane started. Smoke entered the cabin of the plane, and he was rescuing fellow passengers off the plane and died of smoke inhalation. I think most of the people on the plane survived because there was a fire in the plane. And because of this accident that he was in, they changed like smoke detector laws.
Wow. Man, planes are really killing people nowadays. I know this was back in the 80s or whatever.
No. We can absolutely talk about the fact that there have been...
Brother.
Basically, there was this American Airlines crash where it crashed into a helicopter.
Insane.
There was the Medvac plane crash in the middle of Philadelphia.
In the middle of Philly.
And then there was another American Airlines thing. Yeah, Stan Rogers. So play Northwest Passage, and then maybe we'll mute it or something for when it actually... Is that possible to mute it? Like, why don't you listen to it in your headphones?
Yeah, okay.
But don't play it out loud. What do you think about something like this? How does this make you feel? And we'll ask the people at home, if you're watching or listening, for just one time, I will take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching toward the Beaufort
Oh, here we go.
So it's this kind of thing. It's very relaxing. I find it very relaxing. Nope.
Whoa.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It actually really is a game changer.
I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
It's just a little too just guys that suck. I just feel like guys that suck like this kind of music. It's not for me. Maybe when I'm 50 or maybe when I was 14. But all the in between ages, I'm not going to get down with this.
I don't know what else to say except I want to cry. I want to cry when I hear that you think I suck because of the music I like. This is the kind of music where we're all gathered around. We're in a seaside town in northern Canada, and we're banging on the table and we're singing this song.
Okay, I
mean, we're talking and we're singing about the life at sea that we never had.
That we never had? Why don't we have it?
You grew up in Southern California, right?
Yeah.
In Long Beach?
I live in Huntington Beach right now.
Huntington Beach. So you're near the sea.
Yep.
Yeah.
But did you know a lot of people who were like, I guess Huntington Beach is not a great example, but did you know a lot of people who were like of the sea, old...
like sailors and things like that?
Yeah.
You look like a guy, you maybe knew some sailors or something.
You knew some like naval sort of,
Yeah.
aquatic style folk.
The people I knew with boats weren't like sailors. They had like boats in like the marina and stuff,
No, I'm talking about like hardened kind of barnacle-y guys.
It's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they talked about,
guys
the
named
winds.
Like Toothpick.
They talk about the winds. Do you have any sort of seaside kind of nautical themed bars near you?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, there have been a lot of plane crashes. When you think about the delicate nature of life and the delicate, you have something you need to clear in your throat. No, you can cough. I wish there was a cough button. Anyway,
I don't think anyone heard it.
We were getting into
called
this.
It out.
I feel like I stepped into something between you two.
No, we have a good relationship.
Okay.
I've known you for a long time, and I'm excited that you're producing the podcast.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm John.
This is John. He's a very funny comedian, and I've taken him under my wing for some time, and it hasn't taken.
Yeah.
I don't have a mentor. I'm mentorless.
But you had mentors earlier on, and I didn't have any. I never had.
Who was my mentor?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna think of some people from the Panhandle and people from Georgia. Who
maybe
were like
early on,
hardened road dogs.
Chris Cope was my mentor.
Okay, Chris Cope is not a hardened road.
Yeah, he is.
Well, but he's in LA now.
He is now. But when we were kids,
I'm thinking of guys
19, he was like 30, and he was doing drugs, and he was like, I'm gonna bring you on the road.
Sure. I'm thinking of guys who are like, they're at the comedy club in Jacksonville. Their name is like Three Legs Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, they've been the feature at the Jacksonville Funny Farm for longer than the club has been open. Mm-hmm. They knew Bill Hicks. They killed Sam Kinison.
Yes.
And these were the kind of guys who you were a young boy and you were hobnobbing with mentors. But you are my mentee, and I tell you things.
Start stand-up in New York or L.A., I don't think you really get a mentor early on because there's just so many people of your class around you. You have like a million fellow comedians that started with you the same day you started. If you started in a small town like me,
right,
you're the only one starting, and then there's like 10 people that have been doing it, like you said, for 20 years that have just stuck around.
It is funny that
they'll take you under their wing.
Right.
So I guess I did have a mentor. Yeah.
Chris Cope was your mentor?
Chris Cope.
I'd love to have Chris Cope on the podcast.
Okay.
It'd be a good time.
Am I booking now? Why do you look at me like
John,
that?
Get Chris.
Can you call his his people? Anyway, I wanted to talk about how crazy it is that you ever hear this thing that cars are more dangerous than planes?
Yeah, of course. That's what everyone says.
It can't be true.
It just isn't true. It's just not true. Cars are more dangerous than planes if you're stupid.
I mean, I think
if you're like a dumb person, then absolutely.
Well, certainly you're more likely to die in the car than on the plane. Mm-hmm. That's statistically. But if you're able to comfort yourself with statistics, I don't know if you're going to go far. I think you need to have to comfort yourself with only statistics goes against sort of the basic tendrils of your humanity, right? Because when you're on a plane, you're like, I mean, it's been said a million times, I'm in a tube in the sky. This is against God.
Yeah.
You might, as a religious man, as a pious man, say it's against God.
In a sense, it feels sinful.
Is there anything in the Quran that talks about how you're not supposed to be on a plane? Or how you're not supposed to be in the sky?
No, I think there's actually a bit of a push to maybe try out the sky in the Quran. It's a bit of a push to like, hey, see what's up there, go for it.
Well,
it's true.
I believe it. There's certainly a push.
Well, yeah, there's a push to go up, and there's a push. There's not a push to go down. There's a push to go up and a push to go.
Push to go up and go.
And just.
What's another way we could stop the flight?
Man. Yeah.
We actually don't talk about 9/11 very often.
We really don't.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
It was like so weird.
How often would you guys say turn on 9/11 on the YouTube?
Once a year.
Would you believe me if I told you I did it in the last 36 hours?
I would.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching the French Brothers footage.
Oh, yeah.
Probably every other month.
Have you seen the one of the lady in the apartment?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Crazy.
The girls screaming.
God,
9/11 is something different from
NYU girls.
The NYU girls.
Yeah, 9/11 happening today would be so much better because there'd be so much footage. There would be so many people, so many different. Because what for 9/11 we have what like 15.
What's going on?
I'm just pushing the mic.
You're threatening. You're scaring the dog.
Just push it like this way so you don't have to like.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. No, Jesus. It's okay, Bees. It's okay. He can't hurt you anymore.
Anyway, 9/11 should happen today because there would be a lot more, angles of it.
The fact that we even have one angle, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think it should happen today, but I agree with you that there would be more angles of it.
Yeah.
The fact that we even have one angle of the first tower getting hit is wild because they happen to be filming a French documentary about the fire department.
Crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
It's really crazy. That is insane. It's also insane how every single movie before 2001 has the Twin Towers in it. It'll be a movie about fucking Madagascar, and they'll be like, also, here's a shot of New York and the Twin Towers. Like, they just always have it, just to rub it in our faces.
Well, Zoolander famously finished filming before 9/11, and they had to edit. Can you look up Zoolander editing out 9/11, editing out the Twin Towers? Because I remember, revisiting Zoolander's history of 9/11. Go down. Okay, I'll begin reading it. The first came from this is a Vulture article. First of all, God bless Vulture. We always appreciate when we're mentioned in Vulture. But is there anything more indicative of the decline of American journalism and media than what they decide to cover?
Vulture?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think.
And again, shout out Vulture. We love when you put us on stuff. But
it's been a while for me. It's been a lot of years.
They choose to have an article. It's run by New York Magazine, I think, which is owned by probably what? Who owns New York Magazine? The Hearst Corporation?
Yeah, the Sackler family.
The Sackler family.
Oh,
Vox
Goebbels.
Media owns New York Magazine. Goebbels.
Goebbels still alive and owns New York Mag. Wow, cool.
We're learning a lot of stuff, but this is why it's called Luke Mones Explained, because you learn about who owns Vox Media. Please don't be... The relationship between Zoolander and 9/11 begins with the controversial decision that the film made regarding a shot of the New York City skyline, which had been shot while the Trade Center was still standing. Like plenty of other filmmakers in the wake of the attacks, Ben Stiller was faced with an impossible decision. Leave the shot as is, giving the audience a painful reminder, or edit the towers out and make it seem like they never even existed. He went with the latter. I don't know if that's a impossible decision.
No.
It's a painful decision. It's an awkward decision, but you're framing it as if it's some Sophie's Choice thing that they were racking their brains in the edit of like, oh my God, do we cut out the Twin Towers? To me, it's a very easy decision.
And you cut it out.
Yeah. Because then, otherwise, you're creating, what are you eating? Otherwise,
she's just sniffing the couch.
Otherwise, you create a universe, the Zoolander extended universe, where the towers never fell. Never fell.
Well, they never existed.
I think that Zoolander lives in a world that was just post 9/11.
Right.
However, it's set in New York, and they don't really seem to talk about it.
Yeah.
And kind of like what Martin Amis said about the Holocaust, where all art and literature should reflect on the Holocaust.
And all art and literature seems to
often does reflect on the Holocaust.
Really does.
But he said that everything should be at least informed by the Holocaust. So too is the case with film in the direct wake of 9/11.
Interesting. Sopranos did the same thing. They cut out the Twin Towers from the opening theme. Yeah.
Yes, the Spider-Man Twin Towers thing. We're all aware of it, John. Thank you.
I'm actually not. What happened?
Go for it. This we can definitely play.
They had just a promo where he was laying in a web in between the towers. We can watch it.
Because I think the movie came out, or the trailer dropped right before 9/11.
Oh, really?
You just go to that part. Just show him that.
Whoa!
It's a helicopter.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that is nuts.
It also presupposes, again, once you have the towers in a movie, especially a cinematic universe like Marvel, you go, could Spider-Man have prevented 9/11?
Right. And I think he could have. I think the web is that strong.
That's a great question, and I think it
but he can't fly.
Well, but he can board a plane.
But was he prescient of the attacks in this case? Did he know they were going to happen?
Well, Spider Sense.
I don't think Spider Sense.
Can your Spider Sense access the terrorist cells in Humber?
Yeah. No, I don't think his Spidey sense. I mean, that would be a very interesting Spider-Man. It'd be a very different Spider-Man, one whose senses can let him know about terror attacks that are upcoming.
There's actually very few superheroes, now that you say it, who could prevent 9/11.
Superman.
Well, he's the obvious one. I think not one Avenger, but the Avengers could prevent 9/11, and that's a hill I'm willing to die on.
Now, when you're saying prevent it, do you mean nip it at the bud, or do you mean
sadly no?
You mean the planes?
Sadly, I think one domino would have to fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any superhero is stopping the first plane.
I think that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Oh.
Superman is probably stopping the first plane. Should he find out, if he was able to find out about it, he could stop the first plane. But I think the Avengers could altogether could stop the second tower, Flight 93, and the Pentagon. And I also think they could stop Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, who was stopped by regular TSA.
Yeah, well, that's no question.
Yeah, the question is, the question of the day is, could the Hulk stop Richard Reed? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think even with all the Avengers, though, the planes are going down. They're just not hitting the buildings.
So you think everybody would have the fate of a Flight 93?
Yeah.
No, I think Iron Man could you agree, right? Iron Man could definitely. Iron Man and Thor. Thor is a god.
Oh, Thor, yeah. That's a cheat.
Thor is a cheat. Thor is basically like Superman, but he can't fly.
He can fly, right? He can. I don't really know superheroes, but I'm pretty sure he can fly. He's a god from mythology. He has to fly.
Thor can fly thanks to his hammer.
Gods don't just walk around.
So Thor can fly with his hammer.
Yeah, but what's he going to do to stop it? He's going to hit the plane with the hammer?
They can stop it. I think Iron Man could get in front of it and like throw it, like use.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting. Iron Man could use the thrusters in his hand to stop 9/11.
But here's the thing: like the plane is still a huge plane. Like if he's doing that, the plane is going to.
I mean, these people are very strong.
Do you at least agree that Superman could do it?
I believe Superman could do it. Yeah,
but he wouldn't be able to stop the first tower.
No, he would be able to stop the second one, but a lot of passengers would be harmed. He's stopping a plane that's going 500 miles an hour with his hands. People,
right.
You can't break a plane like that. Like people are flying. The pilot's dead.
Pilots are already dead. The pilot's already dead, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Superman is killing a lot of people, but he's saving thousands.
And he's protecting he's protecting national security in a broader sense,
right.
And he's assuring our allies that America is still the jewel of the world.
Here's the real question.
Yeah.
Superman, would he stop 9/11? We've decided he could definitely partially stop it.
Yeah.
But a true platonic ideal of Superman, would he do it?
You believe that Superman would want 9/11 to happen?
I believe he would see the terror and the horror that America's inflicted upon the world and go, honestly, this is chickens coming home to roost. I think.
Do you think he would be kind of like a Noam Chomsky sort of?
Yeah, I think honestly,
he would go. Superman, he would be considered the American Empire.
Yes,
sort of
Superman standing on a roof of a building in Williamsburg, watching the towers, going, "This is just what has to happen."
Wow,
that's not what I believe. I'm talking about Clark Kent.
You're talking about Clark Kent.
Yeah, maybe. You know what I think? Since 9/11 is not supernatural in any way, and it's not from Lex Luthor, it's just from some Arab guys, allegedly. No, I don't think Superman gets involved in this one at all. I think he covers this as Clark Kent.
You think he just covers it from a journalistic perspective?
I really do.
That's crazy.
I really do.
People are going to die.
Well, I know, but it's not his purview. He's not dealing with national security in that way. He's dealing with Lex Luthor's plots and all of his guys. I don't really know superheroes, but 9/11 just feels like he would deal with it like an American.
I don't know anything about Lex Luthor. My understanding is that Lex Luthor is just a businessman trying his best and going about his. Maybe he has some unsavory tactics in the boardroom.
Yeah,
but does Lex Luthor have powers? No, he doesn't have powers.
No.
He's worn power suits.
He's bald.
Yeah, he's bald.
Young me thought he had powers.
Sure,
Child
of course.
Me, he's bald and he's a villain. He's got to have a power.
They really made an interesting decision with Jesse Eisenberg, didn't they?
Oh, is he the new one?
He was the one in the Man of Steel.
I haven't watched a superhero movie.
You don't care. You don't care for superhero movies.
No. I just when it gets turned on, it's just like a white noise. It doesn't feel like anything's happening. Wow, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah, he looks bad. He doesn't look like Lex. He looks sick.
So, I'm looking at this. Part of the new theme of the show is I want to get more into the idea that I originally is trying to unpack when I began the show, which is kind of solving unsolved mysteries.
Right.
And so I've prepared a few things today that I'm just going to present to you.
Yeah, okay.
And you're going to let me know what you think about them. And then we have John here who's going to be able to utilize the power of the American internet.
Great. Okay. Worldwide.
But mostly, we're not going to be using DeepSeek.
Yeah.
DeepSqueak. Oh, yeah. So the first thing is what do you think dry cleaning is?
What do I think it is?
Because I've researched it a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you asked me a month ago, Luke, you come up to me on the street. Yeah. You don't know me. Imagine in this scenario, you don't know me. You go, excuse me, sir, what is dry cleaning? I would say, I give the clothes to a man.
Yeah.
There's a big revolving thing of clothes, which they utilize literally nowhere else.
Right.
Which seems like it'd be a great way to organize clothes. Yeah. Bees, you gotta stop. Mm-hmm. But I would not know exactly how they're cleaning stuff, and I would if they're dried. Maybe they're spraying it with like a powder or something.
Yeah.
But then, how is it getting clean? How are they getting stains out? What would you say? Go ahead, give me your guess.
So it's on the it's on the thing hanging, right?
Yeah, but that's just the way it's being presented to you when it's clean.
True.
Don't look it up just yet, John.
I'm not looking it up. Well, I can't.
I'm telling John not to look it up.
Okay.
Typically.
And they got like irons. Sort of like an iron.
Right.
They're shooting the water spray on the clothes.
Oh, so it's wet.
I think it's wet, and I think there's some sort of a soap compound that may be infused in this water spray. And then they have a way of drying it, and that's the secret sauce, the way they dry.
Very good.
That's what I'm gonna. Yeah.
Very close.
Is that what you know? What it is?
I have some idea.
Fatality rates. What are you looking up?
Can you just make sure she's about to knock something over back there? I used to do a bit about this, which really the context of this bit really shows you how sort of meaningless and irrelevant a lot of what I choose to talk about on stage is. Mm-hmm. But dry cleaning is one of the only jobs, and I'm not trying to just do my bit, but dry cleaning is one of the only jobs where they have an image on the window of the business of the guy.
Yeah.
You ever walk by a dry cleaning thing and it's like a guy doing dry cleaning?
Well, in New York, it's always a lady. It's always a beautiful woman.
But you
beautiful brunette, sometimes blonde, but usually a brunette, gorgeous girl.
And it's like they need a reminder.
Maybe 29. She's like 29 to 32 age range.
Right.
And she's cleaning clothes. And
it's like we need a reminder of... It's also like the doctor who's like a orthopedist who has the big foot in his office. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. Mm-hmm. Are you catching any of this? How do you feel about what I'm saying?
That the logo is them making the clothes.
Well, not just the logo. It's like an image in the window. It would be like, go ahead.
Here's the curious thing from where I'm standing.
Right.
Is that there's 35,000 dry cleaners in the country?
Yep.
10,000?
I think 10,000 is low. I would say there's 30,000. Yeah.
Okay. They all have the exact same artwork of a person doing your dry cleaning. It's always the same. There's like 3 images. There's like an old guy doing it. There's a hot blonde, and there's like a brunette. And
the lady, the orange lady, the lady in the orange shirt. It's something like that. That's the closest.
That's the closest one, but that's not the right one. The right one. It's like it's almost like a.
I know exactly.
What I'm trying to say. Why do they all have it? And it's all the same 3 images.
Yep.
Across the country, anywhere. Pittsburgh to I'm sure Anchorage, Alaska. They got the same lady or dude doing your dry cleaning as a little.
Thank you, dry cleaning.
A little clip
art.
Good, John. It looks like a little clip
Googling.
Art.
Yes, exactly. It's like a little cartoon of a lady.
Why is it everywhere? Why is it always the same?
So dry cleaning, my understanding, is that
there he is. There he is. He's balding. He's got a mustache.
That is an image that you see. Yeah. Like you said, there are probably 30,000 of those images. Now, do you understand what I'm talking about, John?
Not really, but I'm on board.
How do you not
what
understand?
Don't you understand?
It's
right everywhere. It's everywhere.
I understand what I'm looking at. I don't understand. I've never seen it in real life, I don't think.
You've never seen that in real life?
Well,
I honestly don't
around,
think you're paying attention.
Your eyes might be open, but your heart is closed.
Your heart is closed.
Because you're not looking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're not paying attention.
It's everywhere.
Okay, I'll start looking. This is like one of those videos where they're like, how many red cars did you see? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's not a video, John. It's your real life.
Whoa.
Come here.
It is curious. It's like when you open the dry cleaner and you probably have to sign up for a license You probably have to sign up for a dry cleaning license. Do they give you the
absolutely need a license?
Yeah. Do they give you the sticker guy to put on your window? Does it come with the license? Because they all have it.
It may come with I don't know. But the fact that it's alarming to me that everybody has that same guy.
Yeah.
Because that's also the alterations guy.
I think what we're thinking of is the alterations guy. Because when I'm imagining it in my head, the brunette, she's doing an alteration. She's not doing dry cleaning.
Right.
So I think it's a dry cleaner alterations thing. And when you get alterations certified, you get a little sticker.
Bees, come here. I mean.
Bees, come on.
Come here.
She's just exploring.
Can you just put her on this chair? I don't know. I shouldn't have brought the dog. It was a mistake to bring the dog. Here, walk her over here, please. Walk her, Texas Ranger. Thank you. Thanks. Well, look, I would not have brought my dog if I had known that.
It's okay. I think she's bringing me happiness. She's cute.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
Yeah, she's cute. She's a little distracted. I mean, she likes you. I mean, she's a dog. She's taking a major liking.
She's really not paying attention to the podcast.
Yeah, she doesn't get that this is.
She does not care about the dry cleaning.
Well, okay, so dry cleaning, I believe, is a special washing machine that doesn't use water but uses, you were right on the money, a solvent.
Oh, wow.
And then
a compound
that, yeah. So we're going to watch a How Dry Cleaning Works video. This is why I'm excited about the new direction of the podcast. A lot more Googling, a lot more Wikipedia, and a lot more dead air. Okay, yeah, this is good. So this guy, turn it up, John. I guess, do we need headphones? Solvent. See that? It's basically a washing machine. Pause. Some people might call it organic, but clearly, I mean, there's nothing organic about this.
Who would say that was organic?
This facility. I mean, this isn't like we're using jasmine and hibiscus oil.
Everything in there kills you.
Look at that place. I mean, that is an industrial. Yep. I mean, that guy's on his last.
Absolutely.
That was 11 years ago. That man is gone.
He's dead. He was working with chemicals that poisoned him and his family.
Absolutely.
It was not organic.
Oh, and another thing about a lot of the dry cleaning places that you give your clothes to, the dry cleaning happens somewhere else.
No.
Isn't that interesting?
Where does it happen?
Places like this.
So they just gather it and dump it somewhere else?
Truck picks it up. I don't know that's I don't know if that's true. I'm pretty sure it's true though.
Wow.
And then they somehow steam them. And then but that's the main thing, is that dry cleaning is not dry at all. To be honest with you, I thought that segment was going to take up like 30 minutes.
Well, it can. We could just repeat everything.
What's something you've always wondered about the world? And I can tell you if there's an answer or not.
Ooh. You know, why am I alone?
Well, I think you have oh, good girl. I think you have yourself to blame.
Really?
Well, don't we have ourselves to blame for everything, ultimately? Not that every failure in relationships that you've had since I've known you is your fault. That's not what I'm saying at all.
You know, I actually think you're right. I think everything is my fault.
But everything in John's life is his fault. You know?
No.
You don't think so? Oh, you think you're specifically...
It's my fault.
You think specifically it's your fault?
Yeah. I've done everything wrong.
Make sure that we keep the dry cleaning frame up here as we continue to talk about this. Let's put a pin in the dry cleaning thing. You think you've done everything wrong?
Relationship-wise, yeah. I think I just have made error and fumble and blunder and whoopsie. Everyone in the book.
Why?
I'm going to be 32 in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I look at my friend group, and I go, most of these people they've been coupled up for 5-10 years.
Right.
Look at me. John, I'm a sad sack.
It's okay, man.
How old are you?
28.
What was the last relationship you were in?
I dated someone for like 8 months last year.
That's pretty good.
What happened?
That's the problem with me, is when I think of relationships, I don't think of them as infinite. I always think of them like, oh, at 2 years, that's pretty good. I don't think of it like, oh, 2 years could have been your whole life.
Okay. I mean, nothing. I mean, honestly, we're still kind of talk. It's not. It's like, we like broke up. We would just fight a lot, and so we decided like we shouldn't be together. And then we still talk pretty much every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you want to get back?
I potentially would, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard.
You live in Huntington Beach.
Good answer.
Yeah.
You live in Huntington Beach. You live 2 hours away.
Oh, she lives in Orange County.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's a local gal.
But also, like, I come to LA every day.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Now, yeah.
But yet you choose to sample the local fare.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is somebody you love, and I'm being flippant about it.
It's true.
You love this girl?
I love her. Yeah. Wow. I have a lot of love for her.
Love finds a way.
He changed.
No, I love her, and I have a lot of love for her.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Love finds a way.
Okay, but I went to a tarot card reader though.
Shouldn't do that.
And they said it's not looking great. To be honest.
You don't believe in tarot. You don't like that because it's messing with fate. That's why you don't like gambling.
It doesn't mess with fate. It just messes with your head.
Right.
It's superstition. It gets in your mind. It becomes self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
I did Natalie Cuomo's podcast like last year. She did a tarot card reading at the end of the podcast, and she pulled for me the Tower, which is basically like getting like the you're gonna die.
Really?
And she was like, oh, and like a pall was cast over the search Tower tarot card. Let's stop talking about you. Let's search the Tower.
Tower. I thought, wasn't death a tarot card?
Usually represents sudden, unexpected change and destruction.
Oh my God.
She was like, oh my God, I think she was like, should we do it? I was like, can we do it again? She was like, no, that's not how it works. Like, there's no going back. But she was like, she was being really kind about it. She was like, we can frame it like it could be just a small unexpected change. Like you are going to be on one flight and then you end up changing to another flight. But
I mean, why are we talking about flights? I don't like that. We're talking about destruction, airplanes. Come on. That's scary.
And the Tower card.
Tower.
Oh,
it always comes back to 9/11. It really always does. But it also could be liberation. So maybe you'll be freed from the shackles.
By the way, this was like almost a year ago, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed in your life in the last year?
Oh no, things have changed, but
has
almost
there been any
for the better.
destruction?
No.
Have you had any crash outs?
I mean, I would say we all.
You know what? Probably what it was.
Please.
Me and Luke were driving together a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God! Don't talk about this.
Okay.
We were driving together. We were going to Pasadena, and
shout out the Ice House.
Ice House.
Shout out.
Great venue. Beautiful comedy.
We'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
Lakers.
And
we go to
it's owned by the family who owns the Lakers.
No
Did you know
way.
that? Yeah.
Wow.
The Bus
That's
family.
pretty cool.
Shout out the Lakers. Shout out Luka Doncic.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Basically, we're driving together. Luke pulls over to get some gas.
I needed gas.
He needed gas, and then
bees, do not touch that.
And then we stop. We get back in the car. We start driving, and then Luke suddenly, maybe 50 seconds into driving, goes, "I left my phone on top of my car," and then he started driving like a maniac to find the phone, and it was like an action movie. He was terrified. He was. I had a mini
panic attack.
He was the most scared I've ever seen anybody in my life, and I've been attacked by a guy with a knife before. And I wasn't as scared as he was at the thought of losing his phone.
Well, because I was like, oh my God, I left my phone on top of the car, and then we started driving onto Franklin Avenue, like majorly busy Franklin Avenue.
Yeah.
And I knew it was in the middle of the street. And I basically this is where I apologize and where I fully will own what happened. I basically just did a U-turn into
oncoming traffic
on a very busy street at rush hour.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
The phone was in the street.
And you found it?
Yeah, I ran
turned on the brights and we
ran into the middle of the street and I grabbed it and there were cars coming.
But I basically jutted us out into oncoming. I went perpendicular.
It was like an action movie. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. And I think that might have been the Tower.
Yeah, finally,
in terms of traumas and destruction,
and now and chaos and fear of the unknown,
yes.
and sudden loss. Oh
sudden
my God,
loss.
You might be right. And now, honestly, the loop is closed and I can finally rest. Have you ever had something like that happen?
Something fall off my car?
No. Have you ever lost something and gone, my God? Have you ever lost a wallet or a phone?
I one time I lost my like joke notebook one time when I was on the top of my car.
Trust me, that's a gift.
But that was
it's a blessing every time.
Throw out the act.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever lost something like that crazy like that.
Where was the joke notebook?
I never got it back.
Wow.
I drove away from a show with it on top of my car, and I went back and my pen was there.
How big was the notebook?
Small, yeah, 3x5.
Okay, so it wasn't like a bigger one where you're like writing out longer thoughts. This was like a set list book. You're writing little jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
I see.
What kind of jokes were in there? Street jokes?
I'll never know. I'll never remember.
Well, Jay Leno says that you really can't forget any. If you forgot a joke, it wasn't worth telling. That's what he says.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if it's true either.
I actually think that's wrong because it happens all the time where somebody will go, hey, remember that joke you used to tell? And I go, oh, yeah. And I completely forgot about it. And I go, oh, that joke's great. And then I bring it back and it kills. That happens like a couple times a year. And then I do that to other comedians. I go, hey, whatever happened to that joke? And they go, oh, I should do that again. And they do it. Jay Leno doesn't know shit. That's stupid.
Honestly, I feel like that probably is what is going to happen with me with this dry cleaning thing.
Is this going to be a bit?
This is just me running bits, and you guys have no idea. I have little ideas sometimes where somebody will say like, "What, did you ever do anything with that?" And I'll be like, "Oh no, I didn't."
Yeah,
but
how often does that actually bear fruit?
Can you make sure the dog doesn't go outside? She's leaving. Can you go get the dog, please? Sorry. How often does what bear fruit?
When somebody says, "Hey, what is that idea that you have? Is that gonna da 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 da?" And you go, "Oh, I can do that. How often does that actually become something you do on stage?
What'd you do with the dog?
Cameron's in there.
Okay. I would say 90% of the time,
wow,
it doesn't happen.
Doesn't. That's what I thought.
What was the question?
How often when another comedian tells you that something's a bit that you just said, does it actually turn into a bit? Luke says maybe 10% of the time it becomes a bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood the question. I thought you were saying when someone goes like, "Did you ever do something like that?" When you're saying like when I say something funny and someone goes, "You should do that," which by the way, another indication that you maybe don't like me or respect me artistically. You've never said that to me.
But maybe it's because I respect your craft, so I don't think anything you say in your normal life is up to snuff, because your craft is a different beast. Could it be that, perchance?
I mean, that's a mighty fine excuse. That's a mighty fine dodge. But no, I believe that's probably what's going on. You've never said anything like that to me. But again, nobody really says that to me.
Yeah, people don't say that to me either. No, people do.
People definitely say it to you.
You know what? People say it to me, and then I'd say 30% of the time it becomes a bit. 30%. Good chunk of time.
I would say people know me better, and they know that I talk about things that are meaningless. And so if I say like a meaningless observation, somebody might go like, that could be a bit.
Yeah, I think people don't really say that to me, but I'll say something funny, and then I'll be like, I'll say that's
You'll
a
say
bit.
Yeah. Oh, after you say it.
Yeah, and then people are like, yeah.
Well, Alyssa makes fun of me because I'll say something in the home, and then I'll take a note with my phone. I'll go, Siri, take a note. So whenever I say something that she thinks sounds like a bit, she'll go, Siri, take a note. And
have you ever had this happen? I was hanging out with some guys, not comedians, just random guys, friends.
I'm just imagining you're doing illegal gambling in Glendale.
It's me and the boys, and I said something funny, and they all laughed. And then I had a show the next night, and I invited two of them, and I decided to say the thing I said to them on stage.
Oh my God! Why would you do that?
Because it was fun. Because it got a laugh, and it didn't get that big a laugh on stage.
Oh my God!
And I felt like, God, that's so embarrassing. Because they either know what happened or they think I did a bit with them.
Or you're trying it.
That I was trying it with them, but I wasn't trying it with them. It just organically they all laughed, and I went, maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, come here, sweetie. Good girl. Come here.
A lot of stuff like that happens.
I often say stuff and I go, could this be a bit? And then people will go, But again, I don't feel comfortable enough with you. No, hey, stop. Come here. I don't feel comfortable enough with you to run things by you. Like
really?
That.
You can run anything by me.
But I think you don't look at me that way.
I do. I look at you that way. I love you. I think your comedy's great.
I love you too,
I'm
but
a fan.
I just feel like I can't get there with. I feel like you might go.
This is devastating. No. I mean, here's the thing. It's not a part of our relationship.
It's just not part of our relationship.
It just really isn't. Because I thinking about it, I'm like, I don't really run stuff by you either.
But it's because we began in a place where you were so, and remain so above me. And like we did this Comedy Central recording, and he was like one of the headliners doing like a 30-minute set, and I was doing like a 10-minute set, and he like had his own green room, and he like closed the door. And this was a time before we did this TV show together in London, where I was like, oh, this guy thinks I am not chopped liver, chopped shit, chopped diarrhea. This guy thinks I am.
Did it ever occur to you that I was anxious about my half-hour taping?
Subhuman.
Did it ever occur to you that I was worried, that I had my own things going on, that I wasn't thinking about?
How could you not be thinking about me in a negative way?
Maybe you're right.
I think you look at.
We weren't friends.
Like
we weren't friends.
It was like a Brahman caste system. To
no,
you. And I was an untouchable. And you were a
Brahman. Brahman, they're the top.
Is Brahman the top? Can you look up Brahman caste system? Who's the top? I think it's the Brahmins.
The Brahmins are the top. Brahmin, and then there's like the warrior caste.
Right. Yeah, yes, it is.
The Brahmins are the highest caste. Sorry, and then who's after them?
I'm so happy to be doing this. This is exactly what I want to be doing. Talk about dry cleaning and talk about the Hindu caste system.
Yes.
Okay, so we have the Brahmins, the priests and academics. Okay, here's what we're going to do. And then how much time do we have? What are we at?
Probably like 50.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to talk about this, and then we're gonna land, but I want to try to map this to the United States and see if we have a sort of similar thing. My thought is that we kind of do.
We absolutely do.
But I believe our. What are you doing?
So
Why are you taking it away?
Let's go. He's blowing it up.
Okay, the Brahmin, the top of the pyramid.
Let's go over it. We got the Brahmin, priests, academics, kshatriya, warriors, kshatriya.
Yep.
Warrior kings.
Do you know that's how it's pronounced?
No, that's how it's spelled.
I'd say kshatriya. But go ahead.
Vashya, merchants, landowners.
Vaishya.
Sudra, commoners, peasants, servants, and then the untouchables, which I'm pretty sure is Dalit in Hindi. Mm-hmm. And I think it's also
outcasts, out of caste, street sweepers, yes. And then what does it say? John's head is covering it.
Latrine cleaners.
So
yeah, we definitely have this.
Well, we definitely have this, but I believe that some iteration of the Vaishya is above the Brahmins in American society.
Yeah, and academics are not the top.
That's what I'm saying.
Definitely. So it's a little bit mixed up. But
our yellow is at the top,
yes.
And our blue is probably honestly
it's barely above the peasants. Yeah, priests, academics, no.
Well, priests. I mean, like God bless the
clergy.
God bless the clergy, but like the Catholic Church is essentially a criminal organization. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and the Mormon Church.
Catholic Church is, the Mormon Church for sure. But the Catholic Church is like laundering money, protecting pedophiles, killing people. I mean, this, and they are the single largest landowner in New York City.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say the world.
I think Bill Gates is the largest landowner in the world.
Oh, wow.
But the Catholic Church is the largest landowner in New York City.
I'm pretty sure the Mormon Church is richer than the Catholic Church.
Look it up, John.
I think something came out like a couple years ago where the Mormon Church has like $50 trillion somehow.
Well, the Mormon Church has a lot of secret money interspersed throughout the United States.
Let's see. According to several reports, the Mormon Church is considered to be wealthier than the Catholic Church. Yeah. That's pretty nutty.
That is really crazy. I wonder why. Oh, well, I mean, you know why? Potentially is because Mormons tithe in a legit way.
Right.
Mormons tithe, like every single Mormon tithes in a crazy way.
Huh.
Yeah, the Catholic Church probably may have more assets, but it's probably they're probably like the Saudi oligarchs where their money is.
Yeah, this guy on Reddit says the LDS Church is definitely the richest church per capita.
Does that mean per member?
No, I think the Catholic Church is split up. So they have all this money, but it's just split up in different pockets. and the Mormon Church is one cohesive unit.
Mike Racine had this great joke he used to do that was like how 1 in 9 priests is a pedophile. And he was like, if 1 in 9 garbage men was a pedophile, we'd be like, well, there can't be any more garbage men.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I mean, it's such a stark and shocking.
Is it 1 in 9?
I think so. Look up what percentage of priests. Well, it's just the one who are out there. But so you got to think it's a little more than whatever is.
Right.
2%, but that's what the Pope. That's what the Pope. That's what the Pope, bro. Come on, fuck that.
I mean, even the Pope saying that's pretty insane. For the Pope to be like, all right, 2% of us are pedophiles. You're the Pope. Like you should be a little more worried than just saying it like it's okay. Come on, it's 2%. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's what is that? 2 people out of 100. That's fine. That's fine.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Oh man, my friend, I told you about this. My friend who I went to college with, Julian Noisecat. Shout out Julian. He made this documentary called Sugarcane, which is about the treatment and abuse of Native peoples in North America, specifically Canada, of the First Nations people by the Catholic Church and the schools.
The reform schools.
The reform schools that Native American, I guess, First Nations children were forced to go to beginning in the late 1800s.
Yeah, and they were just raped and massacred.
Yeah, and this all started because this whole crisis. Now she's just fully sleeping. This whole crisis up there began a few years ago when they found these mass graves of children. So basically, I don't want to say too much. It's actually, my friend is so crazy, nominated for an Oscar.
No way. This year?
Yeah, he's nominated for Best Documentary.
Oh my God.
Best Feature Documentary.
That's incredible.
And it's this amazing thing to his family. Like it's an amazing thing. And I want to shout out, pull that up, Sugarcane. I mean, that's like
I would love to see it.
It's on Hulu. It's truly a great film.
That's interesting that there are 2 movies nominated for Oscars this year about children getting killed in, like...
What's the other one?
Nickel Boys.
Oh, I don't know.
Nickel Boys, I mean, it's also pretty good. I said it was pretty good. Yeah.
I want to see Nickel Boys. This is like a incredibly difficult thing to watch. But yeah, Julian's been my friend for a long time, and I'm very proud of him. And it's just a really cool thing to
really cool.
know somebody who's nominated for an Oscar. And specifically,
his native First Nations.
First Nations. Yeah. And specifically somebody who
Noisecat
is not
cool name.
It's a great name. Yeah, Julian Brave Noisecat. Specifically somebody who's not like in our world, because when someone in our world of like hedonistic Hollywood people gets nominated for an Oscar, it's kind of like, or an award, you're like, oh well, good for you, like you're in hell with the rest of us. But he's like a good man. He's like an academic. He's doing good in the world, and you just go, are we ever going to be capable of enacting change? And you look at somebody like him, and he, through this work, is making it's not only spreading awareness but creating positive change. So shout out to Julian.
But is he?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think spreading awareness of this,
all right,
at bare minimum, spreading awareness of this terrible thing, is super important.
Sure, it's important. Yeah. So I do think that this stuff came out before 2024. I knew about this in 2018.
I know,
we
but
did a whole episode on Patriot Act about
this is a specific, and that's great too. But this is a specific, very big story, but also a small story because it involves his family and people he knew, people in his tribe.
All right, that makes it a little bit more.
It's very powerful. I don't want to.
I'm excited to watch
it, but it's very personal.
I'm just skeptical of anything making a difference ever. I don't think anything changes anything. It's the die is cast. The world is done.
You do not believe the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice?
No. I mean, I believe people go to hell and heaven, but while we're here, I think evil is going to be reigning.
Do you think evil reigns supreme? Do you think we are not? Do you think we are on a trajectory in the living mortal world of damnation and evil?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You don't?
I mean, I think if we choose to look at the world on that path, it's very difficult for it to not seem hopeless. And I think the cynical parts of us can truly win out every day if we choose to look at life only through that lens. But and obviously, events in America in our adult life, certainly in the macro even, would suggest that we are on a horrific downward slope.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, that doesn't mean give up on life. That just means be realistic about, what's going to change, what's going to happen, I don't think there's going to be like, tons of cataclysm and fires and people.
But there is.
There is. But what I mean to say is, I don't know about World War III, but I think more planes are going to start crashing and bridges are going to start collapsing, and there's just going to be more slow horrors and and
people are just going to be adjusting to them.
We're just going to be
speaking of that, can I tell you something that really bothers me that I think is not inherently evil on its face at all, and is actually people trying to help, but is really kind of depresses me, is in southern Manhattan, near where 9/11 was, in like Battery Park City, in that area. They are like rebuilding the infrastructure of like the seawall. Because there's like all these signifiers down there that are like, this is how high the water is going to be in like 15 years. And I think there's something dark about the fact that they are like, we're just going to like make adjustments in the literal concrete to like prevent there from being big flooding, rather than like,
let's try to prevent the big flooding,
because we know the big flooding is completely,
it's inevitable
at this point.
Yeah, the only way for America to survive, or the world to survive for that matter, is for the government to be like an eco-fascist sort of regime that enforces this and that. Okay, only lights have to be off everywhere at 10:45 p.m. in your home. Like, it has to be like corporations can only do this and that. They can't make this much money. Like, that's the only way to right this ship at this point. Is like,
yes, but that's impossible.
Of course, it's impossible. But like, that's otherwise.
And it's made
recycling's not going to do it, guys.
It's made even more impossible now because from both the left and the right, there is a rejection of the expansion of state power.
Yes.
I think the right-wing anger towards and recalcitrance towards lockdowns, specifically now, and the idea that I'm not saying lockdowns, by the way, I think there's a ton of evidence to suggest that lockdowns in the aggregate were not productive in stopping COVID from spreading.
Yeah.
I do think there is evidence, if you look it up, that like lockdowns helped slow the spread.
Mm-hmm.
But like the fact that there's so much like vicious anger towards that now, the fact that RFK is going to be the Health and Human Services Secretary, it just really suggests that like, we are not in a place where like, if there were another pandemic, a more serious pandemic where they went, here, this bird flu is coming. By the way, it's has a 10% mortality rate. I think we would have less shutdowns.
Yeah, for sure.
You would have Democratic governors going, businesses got to stay open.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's an inherent. I mean, it is inherently
a
bad thing.
That's wrong. That's bad. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, imagine if COVID was slightly more deadly, and that's kind of I'm really rambling here, but that is kind of the thought experiment with public health and why you don't want to be that guy who's like, leave Fauci alone. But public health is a very difficult, big picture thing to manage.
And the whole thing is just culture war, really. Because do you remember at the beginning of COVID, conservatives were pro-mask?
Pro-mask?
At the beginning, they were very pro-mask because the media was saying, don't buy masks. Right. Doctors need them. And so conservatives were like, whoa, we need masks. Fuck you, doctors.
Right.
So it's whatever the thing is, it's just going to become a binary culture war, and it just ends in horror.
And
is this what the podcast, the new direction is?
But isn't that kind of cool that it's like this way? I'm going to have comedians on, and I'm going to be like, do you believe that these do you believe the idea that these mega storms, these once in a generation storms or fires are now going to start happening every couple months? That's what scientists are saying. What do you think about that? Brendan.
You just have Brendan on again and Jace. Yeah.
I have Ian Fidance and I go, what do you think about, I don't know, the fire? Now he would have thoughts about it.
He would have thoughts.
Yeah. Very anti-lockdown.
Oh, was he?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, we all were. I was against. I mean, I did them reluctantly.
Right.
It ruined my life. I got divorced because of it. Changed every aspect of my being. The lockdowns were bad for me, but I did it, and I was like, I guess I have to.
I was speaking of how crazy 9/11. What was? Do you think COVID was crazier than 9/11? Objectively,
I don't know. I was a kid during 9/11.
I think it was crazier than 9/11.
I think COVID was crazier than 9/11 too. Yeah.
Were you a baby during 9/11? You're 28, so you were born in.
Yeah, I was born in 96. I was like 5 during 9/11.
So you must remember it.
I don't remember. No.
Oh wow, I was 9. I do remember it, but I was, looking back on the history of it all, it was insane, but it was a much slower burn. COVID was like, everyone's life has changed for a year, and everyone is going crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, we're still experiencing. Oh, 9/11 was crazy in the long term because it set us on this path of
True.
Of multi-decade war.
Yeah, but
Were your parents in the military?
No, my mom's a cop. My dad's a firefighter.
Oh wow,
that's why I had that in my head.
Do you have one of those flags with like a red stripe and a blue stripe and a green stripe?
I do have a Blue Lives Matter sticker on my car.
Wow.
Because it's my mom's car.
Cool.
Now that is a bit.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that could be a bit.
That could be a bit. But you talk about your mom being a cop on stage, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried to do a bit about like how I'm like trying to explain to her how like it's not cool anymore. Because like the Blue Lives Matter.
He's funny.
Blue Lives Matter was like before they co-opted it, it was like just for dead cops, so.
The flag.
Yes, the flag.
The flag.
The black
not
and
the phrase,
flag.
though.
No, not
black
the
and blue
phrase. Blue
flag.
Lives Matter was to combat Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But the flag with the blue line was just for when a cop died, they would just fly that at a funeral. And then now it's like, you're a Nazi or something.
Have you been to a lot of cop funerals?
No. My mom has. No, I haven't been to
How long has your mom been a cop?
She's retired, but she was a cop for like 12 years or something like that.
Was she at the show where I met you? I feel like she was.
Yeah, she was in like the front row, yeah.
And that was where we met for the first time. And it was Sam.
Yeah, Sam Bilski.
Sam Bilski's it was a rooftop show in like Eagle Rock.
Yeah.
And I remember I did a riff about how it felt like the end of every Entourage episode because we were on a roof.
It was sick. It was a sick little house.
Classic riff.
Yeah.
A classic riff that made you platonically fall in love with me.
I remember that day because you like crushed. You did this like Chipotle bit. You did this thing about
we give Chipotle too long a leash as a society. I know
that was a fire bit.
How like
fire bit.
It's like metal, like it's like cold and stuff. And then you came up to me after. You're like, "Was that Chipotle stuff good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then you're like, "Yeah, I just thought of that today."
Damn.
I was like, "Damn."
I've never seen Luke in a way where he's like talking down to me before.
I don't think he was talking down to me.
John, he was.
Wow.
That was the first time I did Chipotle.
See, but this is the thing.
That's so funny, yeah.
If you were Luke and that happened to you, you would resent him for the rest of your life. If you were Luke and a guy come up to you and went, "Hey, what'd you think of that bit?" "Oh yeah, I wrote that today." You would be like, "That guy."
I would tell everybody that in a negative way forever.
You'd be like, "That guy is a murderer." That's what you would be saying.
I would meet people and I would go, "I gotta tell you this story." No, yeah, that's. I'm sorry about that. But actually, you tell it like it was a positive.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean by
I thought it was cool.
It's
yeah. I was like, damn, that's real. This is a show that like I just like was on this show, and when I was at like where I was like, I would never think of doing something I thought of that day. I like had to do all my best stuff, Right. And then now it's like you get to a place where you're like, oh, I have this show, but. Yes. I could try something. I believe in myself more.
But you're on a roof. You're outside. Disabuse yourself of the idea that you ever need to do your best stuff at any time. Because your best stuff...
I don't agree with that. Do your best stuff. Do your best stuff.
Well, we've talked about this. We don't have to go into detail, but I of course think there are instances where you do have to do your best stuff.
That probably inspired me to Wednesday talk about my dog dying on the show instead of just pretending like nothing was wrong.
Now, did it do well?
It actually, I did like a couple jokes about it, and it did do well.
I'm sure it did great. Yeah.
Well, because I was just like, and now I have to do the joke I made, or I was like, now I have to do this like benefit for like rich animals who like just had to move to a different house. And
funny.
And then I said my dog got displaced to heaven. That's what I said.
That's funny.
You're gonna be fine.
Okay, thank you.
I believe that.
Steer clear of this guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but yeah, at the time you were how you were a few years into comedy, maybe a year or two.
Yeah, it was like 2-3 years in.
And you're meeting me, and it's like meeting Bob Hope or something. I mean, you're some local Okie from Huntington Beach, and you're gosh.
It was like that, yeah.
It was like that, yeah. Oh, I thought you were funny at that show. I took a liking to you. I followed you on Instagram.
Okay. Well, I mean that before you saw me go up, you're like, "Who is this guy? I don't know this guy. This guy's."
Oh yeah. Well, typically when I'm at a show with your level, I don't.
Come on, this is at a certain point. It's just being a human being. If I don't know who you are, I'm not going to be like, oh.
You also have to understand, of course, at this point. Now I look at you as I always say you're the crown. I believe you're the crown jewel of the Los Angeles amateur comedy scene. I truly believe that. And I remember when you opened for Joel.
Yeah.
I commented when you opened for Joel Kim Booster. I said, Joel, JDL is the future.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so I think the world of you, but you have to remember how many people we've met. Yeah. I'm not trying to sound like a grizzled veteran here.
Dozens, John.
We meet a lot of people. I mean, I've met
39.
Think of how many people you've met in comedy.
41.
Yeah.
And multiply it by conservatively 200.
Wow, that's actually crazy.
I've been doing comedy 200 times longer. No, okay. Well, look. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything else you thought you couldn't solve or?
No, I didn't know that was going to be the.
Well, I didn't explain it to you.
No. Ironically, you did not explain
Luke
it.
Luke Mones should have explained.
That
should be the new title.
Yeah.
The dog is leaving. Is Cameron in there?
Bees.
I mean, the door is closed.
Oh, the door is closed? All right, great. This is Luke Mones Explained. This is my dog.
You never introduced me.
Oh, but people know you're a return guest. Ismael Loutfi.
Beautiful.
You really put the pepper. I've talked to you about this. You put the pepper on it sometimes when I introduce you to people. So I'm trying to put the pepper on it more.
Oh, yeah. I do a little pepper only because it's easier to hear. If you say Ismael, you have to really.
Yeah, but you really, you change your posture changes.
A little bit. Yeah. Anyway.
It's good. No, it's good. It's a good name.
Now I know Ismael.
Beautiful.
Beautiful name. Really and John, are you going by John Luna now or still John Daniel Luna?
Oh, true. John Luna.
Drop the Daniel. It's cleaner.
That's a cute.
No, John Daniel Luna is good.
It's a really cute name, John Luna.
Thank you.
It just is. It's a really it feels like a guy in a Don DeLillo book. John Luna.
All right.
John Luna. Yeah. It's a good name. It's a very literary name, and it's a good comedy name. We often talk about what is a good comedy name. I have a bad comedy name.
I do too.
Luke Mones?
We have bad comedy names.
That's a good name.
Yeah, but John Luna. Okay, we have fine comedy names. But John Luna.
I actually like the middle name. John
Daniel Luna is
John
a great
Daniel Luna.
I swear to God, John Daniel Luna is a great comedy name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It really is.
Maybe I'll bring it back.
Oh, you cut the Daniel?
I mean, it's mostly just like it's easier to say John Luna.
John Daniel Luna.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.